Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old as gold, but these rare Kennedy half-dollar coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1 Treasure Seekers and Coin Lovers. If you're someone who gets excited by the idea that a small piece of metal could be worth a massive fortune, then today's video is just for you. We're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and talked about coins in American numismatic history, the bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar with the Denver Mint mark. That's right, the 1776 to 1976 D Kennedy half-dollar. And now, before you rush off to check your coin collection, stay with me, because this isn't just any old coin. It's a symbol of American pride, minted in celebration of 200 years of independence. But behind that patriotic design lies a rare version of this coin that has stunned collectors with its staggering value. And yes, we will reveal the jaw-dropping price at the very end of the video. Let's start with the story behind this coin. In 1976, the United States marked its bicentennial, 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. To commemorate the occasion, the U.S. Mint issued special designs on the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. The Kennedy half-dollar was one of the stars of this celebration. It proudly featured a new reverse design, completely different from the traditional presidential seal. Instead of the familiar eagle, the back of the coin showcases a dramatic image of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the very place where the founding fathers met to shape the birth of a nation. Above the image, you'll find the words 200 Years of Freedom. And below it, the denomination, half-dollar. On the obverse side, of course, is the iconic profile of President John F. Kennedy, looking strong and solemn, a tribute to a beloved American figure taken too soon. What makes this coin even more interesting is its unique double date, 1776 to 1976, reminding us all of the long and hard-fought journey of American independence. But here's where things start to get exciting. While millions of these coins were minted and circulated across the country, only a tiny number were struck in extremely limited quantities, using special methods or unique compositions that make them incredibly rare today. The version of the coin we're talking about today carries the D Mint mark, which means it was struck in Denver. But not all Denver minted coins are created equal. In fact, there are a few that are so rare, so perfectly struck, or have specific characteristics like high-grade finishes or minting errors, that they stand apart as true treasures in the numismatic world. Some collectors have discovered these coins in near-perfect condition, what we call MS67 or higher in coin grading terms. Others have found coins with die errors, double strikes, or oddities that occurred during the minting process. These flaws, instead of lowering the value, actually send collectors into a frenzy, because they make each coin truly one dash of dash a dash kind. So, what should you look for in your Kennedy half-dollar from 1776 to 1976 D? Start with the condition. If the coin has never been circulated, meaning it hasn't passed from hand to hand over the years, it might be what's known as a mint state coin. Look for sharp details in Kennedy's hair, no signs of scratches, wear, or fingerprints. Flip it over and study the image of Independence Hall. Are all the windows clear and sharp? Is the strike deep and even? These things matter a lot. Also, keep an eye out for coins that look different from the others. Does the metal color seem off? Is there an unusual shine or finish? Could the lettering look doubled or blurry? Any of these signs could indicate a rare error or a special strike that makes the coin far more valuable than your average half-dollar. Now here's where things get really thrilling. While common versions of this coin might only fetch a couple of dollars at your local shop, the rarest examples, especially those with pristine condition or rare mint errors, have fetched serious money in high-profile auctions. And when I say serious, I mean life-changing. Believe it or not, a single rare Kennedy half-dollar from the 1776 to 1976 D series has been sold for between $80,000 and $150,000. That's right. A small, silver-colored half-dollar that many people might overlook in a coin jar or drawer could be worth more than a luxury car or even a house in some parts of the country. So, if you have a Kennedy half-dollar from the bicentennial era, don't dismiss it as pocket change. Study it carefully. Get it graded by a professional. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a certified grading service. Who knows? You might be holding onto a piece of American history that's not just priceless in spirit, but literally worth a fortune. If you enjoyed this journey into coin history and hidden treasures, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our next discovery. There's a whole world of valuable coins out there, and we're here to help you find them. Top 2. We're about to unlock the secrets of a seemingly ordinary coin that many Americans have likely held in their hands at some point without realizing just how valuable it could be. We're talking about the United States 1983 P. Kennedy half dollar, a coin that hides a surprising story and, in rare cases, an even more surprising price tag. And now, I know what you might be thinking, the 1983 Kennedy half dollar? That's not exactly ancient history, right? It's not gold, it's not from the 1800s, and millions were made. But here's the twist: certain versions of this coin, especially those minted in Philadelphia, carry characteristics so rare and so highly sought after by collectors that they've been known to sell for eye-watering amounts of money. So let's take a deep dive into why this coin matters, what makes it so special, and how to tell if the one sitting in your drawer might just be worth a small fortune. At first, let's rewind to 1983. The United States was in the middle of the Reagan era. The economy was rebounding, technology was evolving, and the Cold War was still casting a long shadow. It was also a time when the US Mint wasn't producing collector's sets known as mint sets due to budget constraints. That detail might not seem important now, but trust me, it plays a big role in the story of the 1983 P. Kennedy half dollar. Because there were no official mint sets that year, coin collectors had far fewer chances to get uncirculated coins straight from the mint. That means most of the 1983 Kennedy half dollars that entered the world went directly into circulation, into pockets, into cash registers, into vending machines. They were spent, scratched, dropped, and worn down. Very few were preserved in the pristine, untouched condition collectors craved. The P on the coin indicates it was minted in Philadelphia. This version, the 1983 P. Kennedy half dollar, is notorious among collectors for being hard to find in mint state condition. Even harder? Finding one with sharp details, no wear, and original luster, especially one graded MS67 or higher. That's where the value starts to soar. But what exactly should you look for? Start with the obvious: condition. Coins that show no signs of circulation, no scratches, no scuffs, no fading, are the ones that get collectors excited. Look closely at Kennedy's hair. If the strands are sharp and clear, that's a good sign. Then flip the coin over and examine the eagle on the reverse side. Are the feathers crisp? Can you see the tiny details in the wings and shield? Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Some 1983 P. Kennedy half dollars also have minting errors, small flaws that occurred during production. These could include doubling on the letters or numbers, off-center strikes, or planchet issues like missing layers. These mistakes, while accidents, can skyrocket the value of the coin because they make it unique. Another unique factor about the 1983 P. Kennedy half dollar is the striking quality. Even though it's not a silver coin, collectors admire examples that show bold, well-struck details with a strong strike on both sides. These are incredibly hard to find due to how the coins were made and handled during that time, and remember what we said earlier: no official mint sets were produced in 1983. That makes high-quality examples from that year even rarer, since there wasn't a controlled way to preserve uncirculated coins. In short, any 1983 P. Kennedy half dollar that has survived the decades in mint state is a small miracle. So what does all this mean for you? Well, if you have a jar of old coins lying around, or if you inherited a collection from a grandparent, or maybe you picked up some half dollars from the bank for fun, you could be holding onto a hidden treasure. And now, for the part you've been waiting for: if you were lucky enough to own a 1983 Kennedy half dollar with a Philadelphia mint mark, in immaculate condition, or with a rare minting error, it could be worth between $55,000 and $130,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that many people think is just pocket change might actually be worth more than a brand new luxury car or even a college education. So take a closer look at those coins you've been saving. You never know what secrets they hold. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin discoveries, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss our next rare coin breakdown. We're on a mission to uncover hidden treasures, one coin at a time. Top 3. Today's video takes us into the hidden world of a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but has become one of the most surprising stars of modern American coinage, the 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar. And now, if you've been collecting coins for a while, or even if you've just started, you probably know the Kennedy half dollar is one of the most iconic pieces in American currency. But not every Kennedy half dollar is created equal. Some versions of this coin hold incredible value, especially under the right conditions. And one of the most intriguing among them is the 1981 Philadelphia minted half dollar of this coin, minted at a time when the US was entering a new chapter economically and politically, is far more rare than most people realize. And in exceptional cases, collectors are willing to pay extraordinary prices, more on that later, so stick around. Let's set the stage. It's 1981. Ronald Reagan is about to take office as president. The country is shifting gears, stepping out of the inflation-heavy 1970s and into a new era of conservatism, space-age ambition, and economic transformation. At the US Mint, changes were also happening. Coin production was ramping up, but demand for the Kennedy half dollar in everyday transactions was steadily declining. By this time, the Kennedy half dollar was no longer commonly used by most Americans. It had become more of a collector's item than a circulating coin. So, while the mints still produced these coins, most of them were targeted toward collectors and special sets rather than mass circulation. The P Mint mark indicates the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and while millions were made, finding one in pristine, untouched condition is a challenge. That's because most of the 1981 P Kennedy half dollars ended up in circulation, passed through hands, pockets, vending machines, and cash drawers. Over time, most became worn, scratched, and damaged, but here's where things get exciting. Some of these coins were struck with exceptional quality, sharp details, flawless surfaces, and a brilliant luster that sets them apart from the rest. These rare examples are known as mint state coins, and collectors dream of finding one that grades MS67 or even higher. These are the coins that truly capture attention at auctions. Now let's talk design for a moment. On the obverse, you'll see the unmistakable profile of President John F. Kennedy, strong, forward-looking, and full of the energy that defined a generation. This portrait was originally sculpted just days after his tragic assassination in 1963, and it has remained a powerful symbol of hope and leadership ever since. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the majestic image of the presidential seal, an eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows, and an olive branch. It's bold, symbolic, and filled with details that are easy to appreciate when the strike is clean and precise. And that's what separates a valuable Kennedy half dollar from a common one: sharpness, clarity, and condition. But condition isn't the only thing that drives up the value of this coin. The 1981 P Kennedy half dollar is known for a few rare varieties and minting anomalies. Some coins have been found with off-center strikes, double dies, or unusual planchet issues. These are mistakes that occurred during the minting process, and instead of being discarded, a small number slipped through quality control and made their way into the hands of collectors, or unknowingly, into pocket change. What makes these error coins so special is their uniqueness. No two are exactly alike, and that one-of-a-kind nature makes them highly desirable in the coin collecting world. Imagine holding a coin that was meant to look like every other Kennedy half dollar, but came out with something different, something unexpected. That's what collectors crave. Another factor that makes the 1981 P version so intriguing is its connection to the US Mint's collector-focused strategy during that era. In 1981, the Mint issued both circulation strikes and special collector sets, including proof and uncirculated coins. But over the years, many of these sets were broken apart, mishandled, or lost. The few high-grade coins that have survived in near-perfect condition are becoming increasingly rare, making them more valuable with each passing year. So, what should you look for if you think you might have one of these hidden gems? First, check the coin for the P Mint mark, located just above Kennedy's shoulder. Then, examine its surface. Look for that original mint luster, free of wear or contact marks. Use a magnifying glass to see if the details on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's wings are crisp and defined. If they are, and especially if the coin appears flawless to the naked eye, you might have something truly special on your hands. And now, let's talk about what everyone really wants to know: just how much could a 1981 P Kennedy half dollar be worth? While average condition examples may only fetch a few dollars, the rarest specimens, those in high mint state condition, or those with rare errors, have sold for staggering amounts at auction. In fact, depending on the condition and rarity, a single 1981 Kennedy half dollar with a Philadelphia Mint mark could be worth anywhere from $60,000 to $135,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin that once sat quietly in someone's change purse or a forgotten collector's box could now be worth more than some people's annual salary. So, if you've got a stack of old coins lying around, or you enjoy hunting through rolls of half dollars from the bank, be sure to keep an eye out for the 1981 Kennedy half dollar. Because sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin stories, and tap that notification bell so you're always first to discover the next rare find. Top 4. We're diving into a coin that many people overlook, a coin that might be sitting in a drawer, a coin jar, or even sitting unnoticed in your pocket right now. It's the 1988 Kennedy half dollar. And let me tell you, this isn't just another coin with a famous face, it's a hidden treasure for the right collector. At first glance, the 1988 Kennedy half dollar doesn't scream rarity. After all, millions of them were struck and released into circulation. So why would anyone take a second look? Why would collectors and experts today be examining these coins with intense curiosity? And how could one of these half dollars, if it's the right one, end up being worth an incredible fortune? Let's go back for a moment to understand the story behind this coin. In 1988, the United States was seeing the final full year of Ronald Reagan's presidency. The Cold War was cooling down, technology was accelerating, and the nation was preparing for a new chapter. At the Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark on the coin, the Kennedy half dollar was still being produced, though by now it wasn't something people used every day. Most Americans rarely used half dollars for spending, so they often ended up in piggy banks, coin rolls, or quietly tucked away in collections. But the 1988 Kennedy half dollar has something special going on, something that makes it more than just pocket change. The key lies in the quality, condition, and a few mysterious details that have sparked excitement in the coin collecting world. Let's talk about the design. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the classic profile of President John F. Kennedy, handsome, determined, and symbolic of a generation. It's a design that hasn't changed much since its debut in 1964, but each year's strike has its own personality, depending on the dies, materials, and methods used. On the reverse, we get that powerful image of the presidential seal, an eagle with outstretched wings, holding arrows, and an olive branch. This imagery is more than just patriotic, it's a symbol of the strength and balance that defines the American presidency. In a well-struck coin, the feathers, stars, and shield are crisp, detailed, and full of depth. And that's exactly what makes some versions of the 1988 coin so valuable. While many of these coins were heavily circulated, worn, and tossed around for decades, a tiny number of them somehow survived in pristine condition. These are what we call mint state coins, untouched by time, untouched by human hands. These coins are judged on a scale called the Sheldon grading scale, and the higher the grade, the higher the value. A 1988 Kennedy half dollar graded MS66 or MS67 is already rare. But when a coin from this year reaches MS68 or better, combined with exceptional luster, strike sharpness, and flawless surfaces, it becomes a true prize for collectors. These are the coins that end up in high-end auctions, sought after by elite numismatists around the world. But there's another layer to this coin's appeal: minting errors and variations. Some of the most valuable coins aren't perfect, they're flawed in the best possible way. We're talking about coins with off-center strikes, doubling on the lettering or numbers, unusual planchet defects, or even missing elements that happened during the minting process. These rare anomalies make each coin unique and instantly more desirable. Because no two error coins are exactly alike, they can attract huge interest from collectors eager to own something truly one-of-a-kind. So here's the big question: how do you know if your 1988 Kennedy half dollar is one of the rare ones? First, look for that D Mint mark, just above the date on the obverse side. Then, inspect the coin carefully. Does it shine like new? Can you see all the fine details in Kennedy's hair or the eagle's wings? Does the surface appear free of scratches, contact marks, or discoloration? If so, you might have something special, and if you really want to know its value, consider getting it professionally graded. A high grade from a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC can turn your coin from a curiosity into a certified investment. And if you discover an error on your coin, that might just double or even triple its value. Now for the part you've been waiting for. While your everyday 1988 Kennedy half dollar might be worth 50 cents to a few dollars depending on condition, there are some extraordinary examples that have sold at major auctions for between $48,000 and $115,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin minted in 1988, the same year CDs and VHS tapes were filling shelves and George H.W. Bush was running for president, could now be worth more than a luxury car or a down payment on a dream home. So before you dismiss that half dollar you've been holding on to, give it another look. It might be one of the rare few with the quality, uniqueness, or condition that collectors are eager to pay big money for. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of hidden coin treasures, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover another piece of history worth a fortune. Top 5. We're uncovering the secrets behind a coin you might think is too modern to be rare, too common to be valuable, or just not old enough to be worth a second look. But think again, because the 1992 P. Kennedy half dollar is one of those unexpected gems hiding in plain sight. Now, it might not be silver. It might not be from the 1800s. It might even be sitting unnoticed in your change jar right now. But this coin, under the right conditions, and with the right traits, has shocked collectors with just how valuable it can be. And by the end of this video, you'll find out just how high that number can climb. So don't go anywhere, you'll want to see this through to the very last second. Let's start by rolling the calendar back to 1992. America was on the verge of a new political chapter. Bill Clinton was about to be elected president. The Cold War had officially ended, the economy was in a moment of transformation, and the internet was slowly creeping its way into public consciousness. But at the Philadelphia Mint, something much more subtle was happening, something that coin collectors would only come to appreciate years later. The Kennedy half dollar had been in circulation since 1964, created as a memorial to the late President John F. Kennedy just months after his assassination. Over the years, the design changed slightly, but it remained one of the most powerful and recognizable coins in American history. But in 1992, something unique happened, not necessarily in the design, but in the way some of these coins were minted and preserved. The Philadelphia minted version of the Kennedy half dollar in 1992, which carries the P Mint mark, was released mostly for circulation, with a much smaller number preserved in mint sets. That means the majority of these coins were tossed into pockets, spent at grocery stores, and passed through hands over and over again, slowly losing their sharpness, shine, and value over time. But for those rare few that were carefully kept in uncirculated condition or struck with exceptional precision, something amazing happened. They became increasingly hard to find. Especially in today's market, where high-grade 1992 P. Kennedy half dollars are becoming scarcer by the year, and interest in modern coin collecting is growing faster than ever. So what makes a 1992 P. Kennedy half dollar valuable? It starts with condition. Coins are graded using the Sheldon scale, ranging from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the better the condition. A coin that scores in the high 60s, say MS67 or MS68, is considered a real rarity. These are coins that show no signs of wear, no scratches, and a perfect strike from the mint. And let's not forget about errors. That's right, sometimes the mint makes mistakes, and those mistakes can be worth a fortune. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other unusual minting errors are highly prized by collectors. Each one is a one-of-a-kind accident, turning a 50-cent coin into a collectible piece of art. The 1992 P. Kennedy half dollar is also known for its sharp detail when struck well. Look closely at Kennedy's hair, his jawline, and the lettering around the rim. If these elements are deeply defined, with no signs of smudging or wear, that's already a sign you may have a high-grade coin. Flip it over and check the eagle, the feathers, arrows, olive branch, and shield should be razor-sharp. And now here's the twist. While most of the coins from this year ended up scratched and dulled in circulation, a tiny number survived in pristine condition, sometimes thanks to collectors who recognized their potential early on. But even more intriguing are those coins that were struck with unusual perfection due to fresh dies or slightly altered mint conditions, coins that didn't just survive, but were born flawless. These are the coins that become stars at coin shows, grab headlines at auctions, and land in private collections around the world. And they don't just impress, they sell. So maybe you're wondering, could I have one of these valuable coins? It's entirely possible. The only way to know for sure is to take a closer look. Examine your coin for that P Mint mark just above the year. Look for shine, luster, and sharp detail. And if it looks flawless or shows signs of a striking error, it's worth having it professionally graded. A coin grading service like PCGS or NGC can give it a certified score, and that score could mean the difference between spare change and something absolutely remarkable. And now, it's time for the moment you've been waiting for. While the average 1992 P. Kennedy half dollar in circulated condition might only be worth $1 or $2, a rare version, graded at the highest levels or with a unique mint error, can be worth between $43,000 and $100,000. That's right. A coin minted in 1992, during a time of compact discs, payphones, and blockbuster rentals, could now be worth more than some people's entire annual income. So take a second look at your collection, or even your coin jar. Because that shiny little $50 could be your golden ticket, and you'd never know unless you check. If you loved this story and want to discover more hidden treasures in everyday coins, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell so you're always first in line for our next rare coin spotlight. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the rarest treasures are right in your hands.